Fortnite Season 8 has finally arrived, and while the alien invasion might not have gone to plan, we now have to deal with a monster invasion, and things are getting scary quick. Lots of new weapons, mythics, map changes, and more to cover, so use code T5G when buying the Battle Pass. But let's get into the most important part every player needs to know. While we had a mothership 3 times the size of the island crashing down onto the map, it turns out that it didn't completely destroy it. In fact, only some pieces of the mothership have actually crashed onto the island, and you can find these spread all over the map in various places. And if you head to these weird new areas, and you can actually find both a piece of the mothership and a Kevin the Cube to accompany it. These places are probably going to be some of the most important for Season 8 because you can get a ton of loot from chests, hop around on new bouncers, and more. 2 new fan favorite features from Chapter 1 have finally returned to Fortnite. Now in the Cube crash sites, you can find shadow stones spread all over the area, and they work exactly like they used to. It's a great blast to the past. But Fortnite went even further than that because slipstreams are also back. After 9 seasons, we've gotten the return of some of the best mobility items in the game. But no, they're not like last time where we could travel around the whole map. Instead, they are just great ways to rotate. But moving away from the Cube crash sites, we have even more massive map changes in Season 8, including the most interesting of them all, the sideways. Now this feature was kind of leaked last season when an insider claimed we get a sideways dimension kind of like the upside down from Stranger Things. And well, we've got it. But now we actually know what it is. Instead of some weird dimension, the sideways is actually a POI in the map that moves around every single match. You'll find it in a different location every time you load into the game, and when you enter this weird looking parasite bubble, you'll probably regret not getting a better loadout. You're immediately chased by like 10 cube monsters, and we're not talking Chapter 1 zombies. These are now rock type zombies that do not mess around. Now they are easy to gun down when you have the right loadout, but if you enter the sideways unprepared, you probably won't leave. Luckily though, if you do prepare yourself, you get handsomely rewarded. If you take out the cube monsters, they drop some really good loot. They also drop cube monster parts. And if you look around in the sideways, you'll find a ton of like Kevin themed chests. These are brand new for Season 8, and they have some amazing loot in them. Now you can get a lot of legendary items from these chests, but you could also get some exclusive new items known as these sideways weapons. If you remember, we had primal and makeshift weapons in Season 6, well this season has brought us sideways ones. There's sideways rifles and sideways miniguns, and you know those cube monster parts I mentioned? Well, simply collect as many of these as you can, and you can actually use them to upgrade your sideways weapons. You can take them not just up to legendary, but actually to a mythic rarity, which is pretty freaking cool. Now this is just the regular sideways. Around the island, there are also brand new rifts that you can enter, which will create their own version of the sideways. These have a time limit on them, and you have to kill as many cube monsters as you can before it ends. If you get up to 3 stars, you will finish with a ton of sick loot. And the sideways doesn't just have fancy chests and rock zombies, it also has geysers. They have returned at last. But all of this means nothing if we don't look at where everything starts. Map changes are good, but there's always one map change per season that we all completely overlook, and this season that is Spawn Island. Now a lot of us don't pay much attention to this place, which is why you might not have noticed that we've had some huge changes to the Spawn Island. Usually Fortnite changes a few things, but this season half of the island has actually been hit by a piece of the mothership. It is absolutely wild, and if we're speaking about the mothership, then probably the first thing you'll notice if you drop into a match today is, well, the ginormous wreckage in the ocean. You look at the distance and you can see exactly where the mothership went, and luckily it missed the island completely and struck the ocean where it'll probably lay forever. But Season 8's island doesn't just have regular Kevins on the map either. You could actually find Blevin, the blue version of the cube just north of Camp God. And if you watched our event secrets video, you might remember that we pointed out a really cool Easter egg during the event where you could find a golden cube. And it turns out we weren't just seeing things because this golden cube is on the map right now, and it's over at Holly Hedges for now. This golden cube is also confirmed to be the leaked character known as the Queen, who's going to play a huge part of Chapter 3 apparently, so I wonder what she's up to. And the cubes aren't the only living things that are currently roaming the island. Season 8 has brought us an entirely new form of wildlife. If you remember the last few weeks, we've been speculating for a while about a leaked flying animal, and it's finally been revealed to us. This flying wildlife is in-game right now, and it's actually crows. You can find them all over the island, and they drop 2 meat if you kill them. It's pretty cool seeing a flying animal in-game, even if it's just a crow. And on the topic of wildlife, you might have been surprised today to log in and actually see the return of raptors, and it's true. They have been unvaulted and are roaming the map once more, so these guys are yet another thing to look out for. And one of the coolest parts about this season is the new war effort machines all around the island. If you go to places like Boney Burbs, you can find these machines which ask you for gold to contribute to the war effort. Now each machine has different purposes, but some of them will ask you to donate in order to fund a mounted turret in the area. So it seems that we as a community will end up deciding on minor map changes throughout Season 8, and we'll be able to actually fortify POIs based on which areas get the most gold. How cool is that? And apparently this feature will also let us decide what weapons to unvault in the future and which ones to upgrade. Now that is what I'm talking about, Fortnite. And I gotta say, it gets me excited talking about weapons, and this season is full of them. So let's break down all the new weapons and items. Map changes are great, but when it comes down to it, new items are the things that people will be using every match, which is why Epic has gone all out in Season 8 to bring us some awesome weapons. To start with, if you go fishing right now, you have a chance of getting a brand new flopper, which looks questionable to say the least. This guy is called the Shadow Flopper, and he looks like, well, I mean, it's literally a cube. This works exactly like these Shadow Stones, but you can just pick it up and carry it around. It is really useful. And it's not just about new items. Sometimes you gotta bring back the oldies, and that's why Epic has officially unvaulted the automatic sniper rifle. We haven't seen this weapon since Chapter 1, so a lot of people will love this and others will hate it. And guns and floppers are obviously awesome, but there was always one extremely useful item in the game that only existed for a single day. Yes, we are talking about Bud the Mushroom, a super rare feature that barely anyone even knew about. He was a cool NPC mushroom that would follow you around and heal you, but he was only in Fortnite for a day. And it turns out with today's update, Bud the Mushroom is actually back, and we haven't been able to find him at all, but according to the top leakers, yes, he is actually back, so keep an eye out. And as for the bigger picture, Season 8 has given us 17 NPCs around the map and 50 fish to collect, which is a lot of fish. These new NPCs will be holding all kinds of weapons, from the combat assault rifles to things like a shockwave launcher and the Dragon's Breath shotgun. And so to sum up the entire loot pool of Season 8, let's go over all the vaults and unvaults. Everyone's pretty sad to hear that the attack shotgun has been completely vaulted, and so has the silenced SMG. But in return, burst ARs and lever action shotguns have returned to the game. We've also had AKs and deagles taken out of the game and replaced with harpoon guns and rapid fire SMGs. And finally, two new fan favorite weapons are back in the loot pool, but they can only be crafted, they cannot be found. These are the suppressed assault rifle and the charged shotgun. Yes, it is back, which is splitting a lot of the community up. People love the charge and a lot of people hate it, so it'll be fun to see where this goes. But weapons aside, let's talk about the battle pass. It is a crazy new season, and of course we have a new battle pass. And Season 8 has probably one of the craziest battle passes in Chapter 2. Probably the most shocking discovery of today is that this season will have an original secret skin. At least it sure looks like it. Since Chapter 2 Season 2, we have gotten a collab as our battle pass skin, from Deadpool all the way to Rick Sanchez last season, and almost every single time they revealed the skin on day one. It was getting a little ridiculous, but it seems that Epic have listened to the community this time and have actually given us not only an original, but an actual secret skin for Season 8. And a lot of people speculate that this is actually the leaked Queen skin, so maybe she's the one who controls the golden cube, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. As for the rest of the battle pass, the Tier 1 skin is Charlotte, who is a concept by an artist named Kitsu, and she's honestly one of the coolest skins in the entire pass. Head all the way to the end and you can find Carnage, the only crossover skin as Tier 100. And I don't think anyone was expecting this guy to be here. There's also some other skins like Fabio Sparklemane, who looks nothing like he did in the teaser. And there's also JB Chimpanski, Torin, Core, and Tuna Fish, and when it comes to this Toonfish stick, he is way more than meets the eye. If you go into his customizable styles, you can find dozens of different versions. In fact, Epic took this even one step further. You can't just make him a different color, but you could even paint him as other skins. So you want a Renegade Raider fish stick? There you go. What about a Ghoul Trooper one? Easy peasy. The community is going to go crazy for this. And yet, with the battle pass aside, Season 8's update is still absolutely blowing minds, so here's everything else you probably want to know. If you've been lucky enough to get yourself a win already, you'll probably have spotted that Season 8 has a new victory umbrella, and it's called the Umbrella of the Last Reality. It's pretty neat, and if you're a fan of Kevin, you're definitely going to want to get your hands on this one. And it's not just umbrellas we've gotten, because with a new season comes a new starter pack. It's called the Fallen Light Pack and has a new version of Arc in it. This pack should either be out right now or will be coming very soon to Season 8. But changes to wildlife don't stop with crows and raptors, because boars have also received a game-changing update. Instead of just walking around looking for prey, they can actually dig into the ground and discover loot. And if you're less into wildlife and more into technology though, then you might be bummed to hear about the Ferraris. Yes, they have been removed with Season 8, but luckily they're replaced with the Whiplash. So don't worry, you can still zoom around the map doing challenges, but just in a less cooler car. And on the topic of challenges, all you XP hunters will be overjoyed to hear that Party Assist has returned in an even bigger form. There is now a quest sharing feature where you can share your whole challenge progress and rewards with friends in your party. But it goes even further because it's even easier now to track quests you're doing. You can hit a button now and it'll show the quest progress permanently underneath your map. This comes with a brand new layout for challenges that you can spot on the menu. Everything is now neatly organized and punch cards have returned. You can now complete punch cards for every single NPC that offers quests, so there's no more running around with a huge list of quests to do. They're neatly organized into categories and punch cards, so much less daunting at least. And if you look in the item shop, you probably noticed or maybe even bought the Trespasser Elite skin, hopefully using code T5G. But if you did buy him, then we have our first look from leakers at a brand new style that's coming with Season 8, and it looks like he's been taken over by Kevin. But he's not the only skin to get a new free variant in today's update, because Red Jade now has a new style called Maki Monster, and she looks awesome. And it turns out leakers have been busy digging the files too, and they've discovered that Epic is preparing to celebrate Fortnite's 4th birthday, which will be coming up very soon. And yes, we will be getting a new battle bus to celebrate, but this is all we know so far. And if you want some easy XP and love grinding the Imposters mode, then don't worry, because the XP amount for the mode is completely unchanged. You can continue to grind it for a ton of levels, and let me tell you, this is a really effective way to rank up. And finally, if you're enjoying Season 8 so far, then enjoy it while you can, because this season lasts until December 5th. This means Season 9 will come around just in time for the holidays, so for now we're focused up on Halloween, the cube, and the future of the mothership. And that is everything you need to know about Season 8 so far. Thank you guys so much for watching. It's been Tommy, and keep it here on Top 5 Gaming.